The Mavericks get a big win on the road over the OKC Thunder for their third win of the season against Oklahoma City. We'll break it all down. Coming up next on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Here we go. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella, and our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single game night. Really appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Sports. The Mavericks get the 121-115 win over the Oklahoma City Thunder to improve to 24-21 on the season. PJ Washington with 22 points, 19 rebounds, a career high for him. Spencer Dinwiddie with 28 points on 11 of 14 shooting as the Mavericks become the only team so far in the NBA to beat the OKC Thunder 3 times this season, securing the season series. We'll break it all down here for you over the course of the next hour. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports while you're here, and make sure you let us know how you're feeling about tonight's win. As gentlemen, best win of the season, I think we can all agree definitively for this team. No lukadoncic, no Derek Lively II, but at the same time, a lot of guys, Max Prosper among others, showed up in a big way tonight to get this win on the road against Oklahoma City.
I mean, everyone is the best win of the season right now when you're without Luka, but this was a especially best win of the season. I don't know. I was on here on a pregame show kind of half joking about how it was okay if Dallas didn't have their best game, if people were not on their A game. Nobody expected this. Oklahoma City looked like a very tired team on the second night of a back-to-back. So was Dallas. Who cares? You know, Oklahoma City, sure, they're missing some players. So is Dallas. They don't have 2 of their 3 best players. This was an incredible win. This continues to show what I think this really shows is that Dallas has not been consistent without Luka, without Kyrie at times over the past month. They have not been a consistent team. This has not been a team that is just going to necessarily go through and roll over and get the wins they should get against the bottom of the NBA. This is still a title contender. And they could show it for games, for moments, for stretches. This is a team that is very, very good. They have a mentality that could go out there and win against whoever is in front of them. They can do it against a team like OKC. The best team in the conference by record, perhaps the best team in the NBA by what the pundits say. For Dallas to go out and get there, best one of the season.
We're going to pour so much love on Kyrie Irving here in a few minutes, but I would look like an absolute butthead if I didn't say.
Oh, you do already.
Spencer Dinwiddie had an incredible game. We have been very, very, very hard on the guy. He's been overtaxed, and he struggles whenever he has to create too much. But tonight, Kyrie was doing the bulk of the playmaking, and he was drawing double teams, and Dinwiddie was able to catch and shoot. He's always been a good catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. Tonight, he was 3 for 6. But most impressively, 8 for 8 on 2s. He was able to get in the lane, go to the basket, and make some things happen. He hit some mid-rangers too, but Spencer Dinwiddie was excellent. PJ Washington, obviously, KJ, you said it. He was incredible. 22-19, 3 steals, 2 blocks. That's a very, very rare stat line. We've said, Kyrie is great. Even whenever Luka's healthy too, those 2 guys are great.
Yeah.
But the Mavs need multiple other guys to step up and have big games. PJ and Spencer were unbelievable tonight. They combined for 50 points. Omax, 14. Maxey with the offensive rebound into a 3 on a possession, which was unbelievable. And then Quentin Grimes hit a pair of 3s. Everyone made plays. This is how they need to win games. The fact that it came against the best team maybe in the league makes it that much sweeter because, God, it's fun to beat those guys. But, yeah, I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie had his best game of the season. It may be his best game as a Maverick.
Marc Stein, the Dallas Mavericks dropped 121 points on the best defense in the league, a team in OKC with the #1 defensive rating in the NBA, just a shade over 103. this is a statement win for a team that's been going through so much from an injury perspective. To get this kind of win, I think has to make this team feel good, despite all the things they've been going through so far in the month of January.
I mean, it's truly stunning, but I think what you have to say is like, and I felt this way, and it's not really scientific. I mean, here, just updating the standings. I mean, the Mavs still have a sub 500 record on the road, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's now, what are they?
11
and 12 on the road. But I just feel like they always play with a solidity on the road that we don't always see at home. But like, I mean, Tim, you tell me if you agree, because we were both, we're both in the bowels of the AAC last night. The mood to me felt tangibly down. And it just, we see this all the time in the NBA, and we're reminded of what a long season it is. But like, you would not have imagined this kind of spirit, this kind of resolve, this kind of response. They started Kessler Edwards. Kessler Edwards was in the starting lineup tonight, and they win at OKC. Like, you would have never imagined that this team could have so swiftly rebounded from last night was a gut punch loss. And credit to the players, credit to the coaching staff for like getting all that out of their system and bouncing back with this kind of like amazing.
I think that's fair. I mean, PJ Washington came in right away, and he was,
he did say the season is not over, and like everybody just kind of like, yeah, sure. I mean, like,
sure, bud.
I thought the thing that really did it was when Kyrie was asked if he was going to play the second night of a back-to-back, and he was like, haha, great question. TBD, we'll find out, because Kyrie wants to play every game possible, and obviously so much of this is couched within his back. Yeah, this injury that he continues to manage, even though he said in the same media appearance that everything has been smooth sailing. It's not to say that there isn't a lot of extra work going into it, a lot of caution, a lot of just making sure that it isn't something that acts up on him and becomes worse. But for Kyrie to kind of have Kyrie has come out previously on back-to-backs and said, oh yeah, I'm going to play the second night, and then did not. So for that reaction to be to be what he said after last night's game, but then he played. And, maybe I wonder if even that is a galvanizing effect. Obviously, we know what Kyrie means in this locker room, means to this team in terms of just an emotional leader. And for him to go out there and, to some extent set a tone early, I of course that matters, but that can also happen and the team not rally around him. And, Kyrie has been the guy leading the charge, and the teammates did not kind of match what he was bringing to the game. That has happened, and Dallas has lost in those situations. So I think that this team is just, without Luka, they're going to be more inconsistent. You are asking role players to step into roles that sometimes they can't fill. And as much as we want to have a narrative arc that goes through all of this, and there is some reason they lose to the Pelicans, that they lose to, the Hornets, but they beat the Thunder. And maybe it's just that when you're asking players to step 2-3 spots above where they should be when this team is entirely healthy, it's almost like a roulette whether they're going to be able to fill that role on any given night. But every player, to some extent, is talented enough to do it. I think tonight, and something about the Thunder specifically, really brings the best out of them. And the roulette came up almost totally, in the black, or, assuming whatever Dallas bet on tonight.
It was green tonight.
It was green. There we go.
And they bet on
blue. Mavericks blue.
Yeah. And they bet on themselves quite a bit. A lot of unsung heroes in this game, but this team takes its cues from Kyrie Irving. We're going to get to the super chats here in just a moment, but Kyrie Irving with 24 points. He's had over 30 points in the last two games coming into tonight's game. Had at least 20 points in the second half of the last two games coming into tonight as well. Him setting the tone, not just offensively, but finding ways to contribute on every area of the floor. Kyrie Irving's leadership, Jason Kidd talking about it pregame, has been extremely important for this team, and it showed up once again. And with that, we got something we got to show you and debut here on DLLS Sports. We got a brand new Kyrie Irving t-shirt that you can go to alldlls.com. He's on fire. You've got the link in the tab. Shout out to our guy Tanner putting the link in the chat right now. Brand new, hot off the press, our Kyrie Irving DLLS Mavs t-shirt. You can see it if you're watching us live right now. He's on fire, knocking down, well, I'm sure what is a three-pointer. But yes, go check out the brand new Kyrie Irving t-shirt, alldlls.com. Click the link in the chat right now. To go
Altitude with an attitude.
to go get your Kyrie Irving shirt right now on DLLS at alldlls.com. It's a fire t-shirt.
A Kyrie Luka NBA Jam duo would be pretty nasty, I think.
Greatest video game ever, except Centipede.
How do you feel about
That's a hell of a
Snake?
take.
No,
That's a hell of a take.
I only like 3 video games: NBA Jam, Centipede, and Pole Position. That's it.
What a great shirt.
But
Dude,
I do have an NBA Jam at home.
Oh, yeah?
What?
You should bring it to the DLS Sports Studio,
Bring
Mark.
it.
I mean, you got a Papa shot here, so you might as well get the NBA Jam here as well.
The Kyrie, like Tim, what you said about Kyrie having this sort of galvanizing effect, I think it's absolutely true. But also, you know, Kyrie was getting double teamed down the stretch. Kyrie got
At
off
half court.
This is
Yes.
this is like the integral thing. This is the very foundation of what the Mavs want to do on offense. When one of Kyrie or Luka, in this case it was only Kyrie because Luka's out, when one of them gets going, it puts the fear of God into the opposing coaching staff.
Yes.
And they feel like they have to do something. And especially on a night like tonight, whenever you look around and it's Maxi Kleba and Quentin Grimes and Kessler Edwards and Omax and some other people that you're not even sure if they're in the NBA or not. Like, who's this Brandon Williams guy? Yeah, you're going to feel good about doubling Kyrie, and then it's up to those guys to make the plays. It's up to Dinwiddie to catch the ball and make the read. It's up to Quentin Grimes to knock down the shot. And they did. It's a very dicey way to defend. I'm sure there are Thunder fans that are probably upset about doubling Kyrie in the middle of the floor. I would be if my team lost a game playing that way. But, hey, the Mavs made him pay.
And they didn't always. Dallas committed 20 turnovers. A lot of those were because they
Guys trying to
got
do too
role
much.
players to drive into the middle of the paint and try to make plays and try to make passes that were not on, and the ball went all different ways. But it worked enough. And that's the thing. That's the math that you're making. You know, Dallas hit 14 threes. They shot 53%, overall. It wasn't a blistering game. Oklahoma City actually hit more threes than them. I was on record, I think, that I didn't think Dallas was going to win another game without Luka when, especially without Lively, when they did not have more made threes than the opponent. And so for them to go do this is just it's shocking in a lot of ways, because even looking at the box score, looking at some metrics on the box score, I would not have assumed Dallas would have won this game. But it is so impressive, and in the same breath, you can't take any way away.
Jay Will and Shai
anything
go
away.
for 64. It's kind of like the inverse of last night.
Yeah. Shout out to Hayden Riggs. Just copped a shirt.
Let's go.
LFG Mavs. Tanner, let's get to a couple super chats before we take our first break here on the post game show. Let's start with
4 already.
Oh, shout out to Jeff
Let's
Wilson.
go.
Let's go, Jeff. He, of course, writes for DLLS Rangers.
Okay.
DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast. Deport Lou Dort. Shout out to you, Jeff, with the $1.99.
It rhymes.
super chat.
I tweeted that the torture chamber is actually what you call sitting someone down and forcing them to watch Lou Dort play basketball.
We'll get to Lou Dort's sucker behavior coming up in the next segment.
So to speak.
Don't
What a
you-
nuts play.
Don't worry about it. Relax, Tim. Let's get to GM Ben's super chat. He's got the $1.99 super chat. Mark, you want to read that one? Mark, you want to read that one? Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead and read that one.
Super chat $1.99, a paltry $1.99 from GM Ben. Can the Mavs play Oklahoma City every game?
Yes, give me 80 games of this. Give me 100 games of this. I love Mavs Thunder. I
Also,
love it.
Tanner
if
deleted
we're
GM
playing that
Ben,
many
just
games,
deleted him.
let's have like a train that could funnel fans back and forth between the two cities.
We'll get to some of
Just
the
an
other
idea.
super chats on the other side of the
urbanism.
break here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Shout out to the near 400 people watching us live, by the way, right now on the postgame show. What the turning point was of this game, including Lou Dort's suckerific behavior when it came to him and Daniel Gafford.
Choice of words. Phrasing. Phrasing.
We'll get to that coming up next year on the postgame show. But first, you got to go to the East-West Shrine Bowl, which is happening on January 30th, deep in the heart of Texas at AT&T Stadium, the 100th edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl, America's oldest college football all-star game, being held right here at AT&T Stadium. Since 1925, the game has benefited Shriners Children's and its mission to provide innovative pediatric specialty care to improve and transform the lives of children. You can see some of the nation's top college football players in this head-to-head competition, including Shedeur Sanders of Colorado. The East-West Shrine Bowl has served as the starting point of many noteworthy NFL careers, including 80 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and more than 200 members of the College Football Hall of Fame as well. Tickets start at just $20, and when you use code DLLS when purchasing 2 or more tickets, you can receive 50% off your purchase. So visit shrinebowl.com. Again, shrinebowl.com to get your tickets today for the 100th edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl at AT&T Stadium on January 30th.
OKC's 2-month win streak at home is over, courtesy of your Dallas Mavs, and my losing streak on Sleeper is over. Tonight, I nailed it. SGA got hot in the fourth quarter, and he got to 25 points. Jalen Williams made a 3 on the very first bucket of the game for the Thunder. Didn't take Daniel Gafford very long to get to 10 points, and it took even less time for P.J. Washington to get to 15 points, meaning I won $12.50. Big baller alert.
Guaranteed.
That is so true. That is so true. And with Sleeper, it is perfectly legal to play in over 25 states, so I can deposit more to play more. I can withdraw and just save that cash, pocket that cash, whatever you want to do. You insert the code DLLS Mavs and play $5 to get $55. Apply to any contest. Doesn't have to be your first. See the terms of use for details. Check out Sleeper today and get like me on the winning team, unlike you, OKC.
Mavericks get a big road win over the Oklahoma City Thunder, 121-115, their third win of the season over the Oklahoma City Thunder, which means they secure the season series over the Thunder. Tanner's really excited about that. Before we get to our turning point of tonight's game, the moments and plays that defined tonight's win for the Dallas Mavericks, let's continue with some of our super chats. DFalk_23 with the $2 super chat. Last 9 months, the Thunder have 12 losses. 7 are against the Dallas Mavericks. You're damn right. DFalk_23. That's a hell of a statistic right there when you think about the way these two teams have played each other over the last 9 months.
I mean, only 12 losses in 9 months is crazy.
I mean, that is also crazy.
A level of clever and informative that GM Ben can only aspire to in the super chat.
Wow, that's like Spencer Dinwiddie dunking on SGA. Head top, Marc Stein. I see what you're doing over there.
Enough. It's gone too far. It's gone too far.
Really? Do you sound like you was over there thinking about that one for a while there?
No, seriously, it just came to me, but I kind of regret it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's get to our next super chat here on the program. See how much fun it is when they win? Damn. I need this more often.
Tanner is giddy.
Akshay at the $1.99 super chat. Omax.
Let's go.
He should be in the rotation. Shout out to Omax tonight. 14 big points for him. Best game of his entire career so far in a Dallas Maverick uniform.
I never panic sold my Omax stock.
Omax?
I've been holding.
Who was ref? Was Corella reffing tonight? 9 free throws for Omax?
He smoked 4 of them.
He earned every single one of
9
them.
trips to the line?
Yeah.
Hey, they couldn't stop him. They had to cheat to keep him from scoring. Dude was so good.
Oh, we are fired up.
He made a spin move tonight. It was unbelievable.
He made a spin move.
He did do that.
He did a spin
move.
He spun moved.
He's on fire.
He spun moved.
Let's get to super chat. Ardell with the $25.26.
Really?
Cent super
Let's
chat.
go.
$25.26.
PJ Dinwiddie.
Let's go, Ardell.
PJ was not seen dapping up the opponent after the game. He is my favorite player by far. PJ and Gafford set a tone for this team's effort level. The super chat is for everyone who consider PJ's their favorite player.
Hell yeah, dude.
Wow. That's for your boy right here because PJ got the agenda.
Pop in the chat if PJ's your favorite player. Let Ardell know.
Let him know because
let Ardell know.
The PJ Washington agenda.
That one's for you.
Is alive and well here on the DLLS
and
Mavs.
KG, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
PJ's line tonight: 22 points, 19 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Never been done before by a Maverick. Roy Tarpley met all those thresholds, but he did not get the assists. So this was a unicorn stat night
Wow.
for a Maverick, and it came to you courtesy of PJ Washington, who got robbed of a rebound. He really should have 20, but stats don't matter. You play to win the game.
You do play to win the game. And PJ
400
Washington.
plus watching. Now let's go for 500.
Let's go.
Tell your friends. Let's go. Tell them.
Tell your enemies too. Hit up Thunder. Don't actually do this. A lot of Thunder fans had problems with me whenever I was talking about Lou Dort on the internet.
Oh, we're about to get to him.
And they
right
all
now.
found my tweets and were telling me to cope and seethe, and they were calling me a fan, and Thunder Film Room told me to get a grip, and I wanted to reply, well, Lou Dort just got a grip if Daniel Gafford's hang down, but I didn't. I restrained myself, unlike Lou Dort. But, yeah, tell all your OKC fans to tune in as well. We're just having a good time.
Let's get to it. Let's get to the Mavericks' turning point of this game, and let's fast forward to the third quarter. The Mavericks started what was the first 5 minutes of that quarter on what was a 14-4 run to take an 8-point lead at 74-66 with 7 minutes left. Getting off to a fast start in that fourth quarter, I thought was big for them to continue to have themselves in this game. We knew that at some point Oklahoma City would make a run. They're too good not to, even on the second night of a back-to-back. But being able to start that period with that run there was big. And then, of course, you started to allude to it. Some real BS sucker behavior by Lou Dort, who was tossed in this game, ejected with 6:50 left. As he is coming around navigating a screen, he decides to open hand slap Daniel Gafford in the groin, and it was reviewed and deemed to be flagrant and excessive, a flagrant 2. Lou Dort gets...
Whoa!
I
Sorry.
know. Is that real?
Yeah, we just got a big old one.
Lou Dort with the getting tossed. Let's get to it. Since
Let me see.
we're having it read to make sure that
Yes, we can.
Okay, so
I know.
let's interrupt the turning point of this game with Henry C with the $150 super chat. Biggest super chat by far so far here on DLLS Mavs. So congratulations to you, Henry C. OKC's daddy, PJ bleeping Washington.
We can that's almost enough to say it. At 50,000 subs, we say it.
Oh, okay.
You say it, not me.
Oh, and if they trade Daniel Gafford, I'm a crash
We'll
out.
let Marc Stein say it.
Oh yeah, Stein will say it.
Henry C., I don't think you have to worry, and that is a very gracious and moving super chat gesture from you. That is, wow.
$150 super chat. Shout out to Henry C. with the big super chat.
147.01 more than GM Ben's super chat.
Oh my god,
2 for 2. Head top on GM Ben
my
once
God.
again.
You're gonna get fired at 50,000 subs.
He knows it's all out of love. I loved. Who named him GM Ben? Come on.
Do we get to Aaron Howe?
We got another one.
Aaron Howe says for $1.99, he says, "Go Mavs, God bless PJ, God bless America." So
PJ,
we are
Oklahoma.
getting patriotic. Mavs fans feel like this is not just a win. This is a coronation.
All right. It's a win of the season, definitely, for sure. But, I mean, look, we talked about during the pregame show as well. Which team is going to play with the better composure? Who's going to have the most composure? In the last game, these two teams played less than a week ago. 5 technical fouls. A flagrant foul was assessed. And in this moment here, after Lou Dort gets tossed, I mean, the Mavericks engaged in what would be after what was a 21-6 start. They lead 81-68 with what is 5:50 left in the third quarter. And from there, they were able to hang on as the game went down the stretch. Because, gentlemen, as we go toward the fourth quarter, the Mavericks lead 99-88 with 9 minutes left in the game. Oklahoma City, and Bobby, you pointed out, OKC was in the bonus for the final 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. And with a foul merchant like SGA on the floor, you figured at times they were going to find the way to get to the free throw line. But give the Mavericks credit. The Thunder went on what was an 8-0 run. Spencer Dinwiddie knocked down a three-pointer to make it 102-96 with 6:48 left. He was the one making the plays, calming the team down to be able to get them to a point where they were able to win this game. I thought that three-pointer in that moment there was huge to settle the Mavericks down there.
And I think this is why. So I get it. It can be very frustrating to watch Spencer Dinwiddie. But when you watch him in a game like this, you know he's capable of this. Jason Kidd knows he's capable of this. This is why he plays, because he does have exactly that settling effect.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it was brought on by a very specific strategy from OKC to, just sell out to double Kyrie. But nobody else on the team is quite capable of doing what Spencer Dinwiddie did tonight. The problem is that you're just not going to get it every night. But it's very important when you do. And this was a great example of like nobody else on the team could do this.
The fourth quarter was a battle of execution, and the Mavs were doubling Shai just like the Thunder were doubling Kyrie. It was desperate, all out, no holds barred double teaming. They were trapping Shai backcourt. It was unbelievable how high up the floor both these guys were getting doubled. The Thunder in the fourth quarter, 2 of 8 from 3. The Mavs, 5 of 11 from 3. The Thunder, 2 assists. The Mavs, 6 assists. The Thunder had to earn all their stuff. This is a team that gets a lot of assists, but they were all ISO. It was all ISO-oriented stuff because the little tic-tac-toe into open threes, the Thunder were just bricking all of them. Maxi Kleber, just like Spencer Dinwiddie was able to attack out of those opportunities. Maxi wasn't attacking, but he was passing. He was screening for Kyrie, allowing the double team to get through, short rolling essentially down to the top of the key, catching the pass, and then spraying it out to the perimeter. He had 3 assists in the fourth quarter. Maxi is a good passer for a guy his size. He's not the same sort of like dynamic playmaker the way that Lively is or somebody else who's bigger that can make, on the move, just drop these dimes. But he can assess the floor, and sometimes to his own detriment because he's trying to make a pass instead of taking an open shot. He did take one of those, though, in the fourth, and he made it. So, again, it was the veteran, if you want to use some coach speak, the Mavs have more veterans, Dinwiddie, Maxi, PJ, than the Thunder, who have a bunch of younger guys that were out there, and the Mavs executed and the Thunder didn't.
Honest question for the panel and all of our friends in chat. After the Minnesota loss, did you think the Mavs would win either of these last 2 games during Rivals Week?
No. I thought Rivals Week was going to be a dud.
Yeah. Even with the Thunder coming on the second night of a back-to-back, SGA coming off a career-high 54 points.
I thought they would.
You thought they were going to win tonight's game?
Yeah, tonight, there's the smile.
Tonight or Saturday
there's the
Boston?
Smile.
Yeah.
For the audio-only listeners, Tim Cato is trying to choke back a smile.
Yeah.
He's failing.
What do you mean? I just thought that it was pretty obvious that they're better without Luka.
Oh, brother.
Here you go.
Sneaking that in at the end of the segment is that's finable
wild.
behavior.
Don't worry, I'm going to save it because the moment of the night, my favorite 2 plays of the night, it came on back-to-back plays. Maxi Kleber knocks down a 3-pointer to help settle things down. It makes it 109, or excuse me, what was it be? Something like that. Anyway, it was a big 3. 110 to 104. Spencer Dinwiddie on the very next play comes down the middle of the lane, and when I tell you, punches it on SGA's head top, it got me screaming all over the joint. Spencer Dinwiddie with the play of the night, dunk of the night. But those 2 plays are my favorite because obviously you talked about Cleveland, the pass that they was doing, but also the big shot making at times in the fourth quarter with the 5 3-pointers that the Mavericks made. But then Spencer Dinwiddie really kind of sealing it in a lot of ways with 2:49 left with the drive and dunk of the night on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, punching what was a terrific night for Spencer in a lot of different ways, going 11-14. That kind of efficiency I don't think we've ever seen for Spencer in a game, going 11-14.
Yeah, I mean,
field.
So like a rough summation of how efficient you are. If you score more points than shots you attempt, that's a pretty efficient night. Spencer Dinwiddie scored twice as many shots, or twice as many points as shots he attempted. 28 on 14 shots. Fantastic night. That
little stretch, the Maxi offensive rebound into a 3, into a Dinwiddie dunk, into the PJ block as Jalen Williams is going up for a dunk, showing Jalen Williams that's how you play defense, not by trying to take charges. It's like the scene in The Matrix whenever Morpheus is watching Neo do some training drills, and he's like, he's starting to believe. Like you could see the Mavs think like, yeah, we're gonna win this game. Like we're going, Maxi trusts his shot. Dinwiddie trusts his hops. PJ trusts his defense without fouling. These guys were trusting the pass. They were trusting each other. There was like this self-belief that, yeah, this could happen. They weren't gonna smoke away this game the way that they did in Charlotte, and the way that, honestly, that they kind of almost did against Minnesota and many other times this year.
Big win for the Mavericks on the road. A lot of guys contributing to this win as the Mavericks snapped their 2-game losing streak, taking their 3rd win of the season over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Coming up next year on the other side of the break, we enter into Cato's Corner. how the role players were able to help define this win for the Dallas Mavericks. And a little bit later on, we'll dial up the Stein line with our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. All that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs postgame show.
Started by two college friends, Saturday Neon makes officially licensed collegiate logo LED signs. Perfect for your home, office, dorm room, fan cave, or bar. Check out their new Essential Collection featuring almost 50 of the biggest schools around the country and counting for only $75. They've got Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City? They do not have Oklahoma City. They have Oklahoma and they have Oklahoma State. They do not have Oklahoma City. Unlike traditional neon, these LED signs won't break or shatter, but they will still give you that classic uniform glow that you know and love. The LEDs last up to 100,000 hours. I think that's like your entire lifetime. 2 lifetimes? I don't know how many hours are in a lifetime.
11
but it's a long
and a half
time.
years.
So you'll be enjoying your sign for years to come. They're also super easy to install. So head over to SaturdayNeon.com and use code DLLS for 10% off your favorite sign.
Rugged Road is dedicating to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the very best. Their products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions, whether you're on land or water. Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every single adventure. One of the most unique features of Rugged Road coolers is their ability to always float upright. You never lose a drink. They're not going to flip over in those raging rapids. If some dummy in the river tries to climb on top of it, that thing is going to stay upright. Those drinks aren't going to the bottom of the riverbed. They're going to the bottom of your belly. Unlike other heavy-duty coolers, Rugged Road coolers are incredibly light, making them easy to transport on any trip without compromising on performance. They're crafted to handle the toughest environments. Their coolers are built to last. They're perfect for a variety of outdoor activities, from fishing and tubing to camping and tailgating. These coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used, Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off.
The NBA has 5 wins against the Oklahoma City Thunder this season. Your Dallas Mavericks have 3 themselves against the Thunder this year. Mavericks went 121-115 on the road, snapping their 2-game losing streak, and in the process, securing the season series over the Thunder as well. As Rivals Week continues in the association, it's time to hop into Cato's Corner as the Dallas Mavericks role players, Tim, had a big say in tonight's game. An unlikely starter and a terrific performance from a second-year player out of Marquette was really able to help this team get a win tonight.
Yeah, so we talked about PJ Washington. We talked about Kyrie. We talked about Spencer Dinwiddie. We did not actually talk much about Daniel Gafford. We should have talked about him a little bit more. He wasn't the right player down the stretch. Dallas chose to match Oklahoma City going smaller, and I think that was the right choice. But I thought Daniel Gafford played very big in the minutes that he was on the court. Thankfully, he was fine after getting kicked in the head, kicked in the forehead. That was not the most fun thing to see, but fortunately he was good from that. But I wanted to talk about the role players. We talked about the players. We talked about how Kyrie was being doubled. And we talked about the execution that you have to have. And eventually, execution, basically, what you're saying when you say execution, it's, can this player who doesn't always play and is your worst three-point shooter on the court, can he knock down a 3? Kessler Edwards knocked down 1. It was earlier in the game. Had a layup. He flubbed a little bit in the fourth quarter. Jason Kidd got him out of there after that. But I thought his minutes up to that point, his defense at times, he's just a big player. He is essentially a replacement for AJ Lawson. And we all liked AJ Lawson, I think. But Kessler Edwards being, 6'8", 6'9", at times, I think literally the tallest player on the court for Dallas, you just feel his size a little bit more. That's important. That's something that matters. And it's why he's kind of stuck in the NBA. And when he can add to that, a driving layup and making one of those open threes, that's important. Is he going to stay in the rotation past once the team's healthy? No. He'll get a look every once in a while. I don't know if he's carving out a rotation role. Someone who might be is Max Prosper, who was much better, has been very good. But I mean, this was something of a breakout night. for him. 4 of 6, made one of his threes, and really, it's just it's an energy that is it's very hard to channel that type of franticness. I think where it really shows is offensive rebounding, and sure, he had 2 tonight, but every time a shot is missed and it's just bouncing around out there somewhere, always feels like there's a chance Omax is going to find his way to the ball. And it's not necessarily that he is like the best player in the world at going from corner to corner or like making that long rotation, but he is always going to be scrapping like somewhere in there. He has a very football energy at times, which I think in these instances shines, where he's just going to get on the floor, he's going to scrap, he's going to be in the mix,
especially in a rivalry game like this where you need some of that football-like energy. A guy who's not going to take any crap on the floor, going to be diving after loose balls. We talked about that during the pregame show, how well Oklahoma City gets after it on the floor. Omax did a lot of those hustle-like things, but a little bit of even offensive execution I thought was good for him tonight.
Yeah. Quentin Grimes also, wouldn't call him a role player. A role player when this team is healthy. He played the 4th most minutes on the team. It was good to see him get back into the game, hit a couple threes. He had been rough. He's had a rough week, I'd say. Holding the stock. We are staying on the island.
It's not time to panic.
We are not shipping off with a makeshift raft.
In fact, buy the dip.
Buy the dip. Exactly.
This is not financial advice.
This is still a pro Grimes podcast here on the DLLS Mavs show, for sure.
But yeah, I think all of us are still very in on Quentin Grimes, and we've seen why maybe at times, I still think that in a few games he should have got more minutes, but he's not Spencer Dinwiddie. And the idea that he could just fully take over that minutes, I think has been fully dispelled. It was never something. It was a question I was getting, and I didn't know quite how to explain it, except that eventually we will see. That's just, he's a different player. But he was very important down the stretch, and basically it's like when you see a player like Edwards and he isn't quite up for the moment, that's okay. Kessler Edwards, he has a lot of NBA minutes by the standards of a two-way player, but not necessarily by the standards.
He started 20-something games in his career, but when you saw his name in the starting lineup tonight.
Oh, yeah, it was very...
We were shocked. Shocked.
It wasn't like, like throw everything in the air, but yeah, it was pretty surprising. He has 2,000 NBA minutes. It's not nothing, but it's not a player who has been in these moments. What you can say about Quentin Grimes is that he has. Quentin Grimes has absolutely been in these moments. And if you need him to close a game and hit a couple threes down the stretch, you can trust him for that. I think he absolutely delivered in those in that way.
He was confident, like if that's the thing, right? If you know that your guy is going to be double teamed, the odds are pretty high that you're going to get the ball, that you're going to be open, and that you're going to have to shoot it. It's the fourth quarter, and the crowd is going. The crowd is very, very loud. Okay. You got to be ready mentally and physically to let that thing fly, because if you catch it and pump fake, which Clay does sometimes inexplicably, even though I'm not questioning Clay's merits as a shooter, the dude has made more threes than days I've been alive. But like Maxey, Grimes, Kessler Edwards, Omax, those are the guys that need to be ready to shoot. And Grimes took those rhythm threes in the fourth and knocked him down. Where I thought, Tim, things started getting a little weird. I believe it was in the fourth quarter, actually. There was some double team situation, or Dinwiddie had it at the top of the key, hit Edwards cutting to the rim with a really nice kind of like wraparound bounce pass. One of Dinwiddie's better passes of the season, I thought. Edwards caught it and turned and tried to go for the finger roll and just blew it.
That's the shot I was talking about.
Yeah,
and it's just like, it sucks. I think that in almost every other instance,
he makes it 100 out of 101.
But
times.
it was a, the only way to explain an NBA player missing that shot is that this is not a moment he's ever been in.
Yeah,
I would like to see him try to dunk that ball.
And look,
same.
Quite literally, that was the highest stakes basketball moment he had ever played in his entire life. He has played minutes for the Brooklyn Nets in the past, but different opportunities, different situations. So, by the way, the Boston Celtics are trailing by 12 The Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, what is going on with them, man?
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
and who beat the Los Angeles Lakers like 2 weeks ago?
The Mavs.
Yeah.
So what you're
Interesting.
saying is the Mavs are better than Boston.
Well, yeah, why are you guys when Marc Stein asked us, who predicted Dallas was going to win both of these games?
You're right. I should've
and
seen
who was
this coming.
correct?
No, it's my
It
fault.
was me.
Yeah, no.
So
it's my
Dallas
fault.
has already won this game against Boston on Saturday. Thank you.
Mark, what is happening? This isn't the Mavs Celtics pregame show, but like, what the heck is going on with Boston?
I mean, it's like a 20-game thing at this point. I mean, it's not just a few
10 and 8 in
games.
their last 18.
I still want to believe that it is more the malaise of when you've won and you expect to get back there, that it's January. I do. But I will say, last season there was only one team in the NBA that shot more than 40 threes a game. It was Boston. This year, for most of the first 2+ months of the season, 2-3, I mean, they were in the 50s per game, and they've started to take. It has it. I mean, they were at 50, more than 50 threes a game. It is now dipped below 50. Like they
were
dialed
playing
it back
better when they were shooting 53s a game.
Yeah.
They've had a month-long shooting. I mean, their shooting percentages in the month of January.
Their best player is Kristaps, night in and night out.
Whew.
I'm not joking.
Can't relate. So are the Mavs going to win?
I mean,
They already have. You haven't seen the script?
Put your drop your predicties in the chat.
Oh my gosh.
your predictees.
Yeah.
Did he shorten predictions? You've got to stop.
And you didn't
You've
shorten
gotta
it by
stop.
that much, so I don't know that it was
Yeah, I don't know if
necessary.
it's actually a shortening of
Here,
the
Bobby,
actual word.
Bobby,
You
to
gotta
get back
stop.
to the role players, I do want to. Do you have any Omax thoughts as the resident Omax thinker?
No,
of
I
our
thought
times?
one of
leading
the
Omax thinker.
one of the coolest plays of the game, even though he ended up losing the ensuing tip, was when there was a shot that went up and everyone knew it was going to miss, and Omax was like, bet. And he jumped over like 3 Thunder guards and went up and got the ball, fell to the ground.
The dog wouldn't let go of the bone.
Yeah, and then got the jump ball, and he stayed on the floor, and he looked like there was smoke coming out of his nose
Is
and
he
his
still
ears.
your favorite Mav?
Wow, way to put him on the spot. That's good.
I don't know if he ever was, but
Oh, come on. He was.
I can't give the game away. Omax is still my favorite Mav.
Yeah.
Because that
When is
picture
the
up there
Omax
says
shirt?
otherwise.
When is the Omax shirt hitting me?
I mean,
When he scores 24,
I remember back in
Stein
like.
is on fire tonight. By
So
the
I
way.
met
On
Bobby.
fire.
I met Bobby in 2014 and
13.
13.
How do you not
2013.
remember, Tim?
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
I remember
I
it like it
where
was
What
yesterday.
day?
I remember where it was, but I forget what
second-
year.
First practice of the season, actually, day
It
after
was.
media
It
day.
was.
Yeah.
And so I remember Bobby telling me then that his favorite player in Mavericks history, it was Dirk Nowitzki. But in the second,
Right, shocker, right?
he paused for a second and then said, "I can't wait till I have a new favorite player." I just he was basically like, I like Dirk, but like, man, one of these days somebody is gonna come along that's even better.
Do you remember whenever I pulled out my phone and I started showing you some high school tape of this kid in Montreal?
Brother,
Is that
it
where
was
he's
fourth
from?
grade.
Montreal.
It was like fourth grade.
Well, for an Omax
Dude,
fan,
he was
sure is
in
nothing bad
high
about
school
guys.
10 years ago, wasn't he? How old is Omax?
You're asking us?
You're supposed to be the resident Omax expert on this show.
I feel like he was in high school 10 years ago. Let's see.
Well, while you research that,
In
we're going to take our
2015.
next break.
Oh,
here.
we have to go to break?
Yeah. You got something?
No, I was just going to say, PJ Washington in
he
3
was-
games
7th grade.
against the Thunder of
Yeah.
Oklahoma City this season.
That's right.
21.7 points, 14.3 rebounds,
Oh my God.
and 1.3 blocks.
He turns into an absolute monster against
PJ
this team.
Oklahoma.
I can see why he's public enemy number 1 in Oklahoma City, because he torches them.
He is
every
the
time.
Julius Randle of Oklahoma City.
No, he really is. Like that's a great way to put it, because when he sees Oklahoma City on the other side, he turns into one of the 5 best players in the league every time. Let's take our next break here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. When we come back, we'll dial up the Stein line with our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. Plus, we'll answer more of your chat as well, and maybe some more super chats as well. We appreciate you joining us here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. We'll be right back.
But first, it's Die Hard time. Hey, there's going to be a QR code at the bottom of your screen at some point. Tanner, I'm sorry for springing that on you, but if you scan that QR code or click the link in the description below or go to alldls.com/diehard, for less than $7 a month, you can become a diehard and financially support what we're doing here at DLLS Sports. But you get a lot of bennies out of that. You get a free shirt when you sign up. Hey, if you want that Kyrie Irving shirt, can we pull that up real quick? There you go. You can get that for free when you sign up. Or if you become a diehard, you can get a discount on merch. So if you've already got a free shirt, or if you've already bought that shirt, you want someone else, hey, you get a free one when you sign up. You get a discount on any other shirts or hoodies or cups or mugs or flags or anything else that we have here. Hats coming soon. You also get to join the DLS Diehard Discord Lounge. You get to read the entire website, all that premium paywalled written content.
Diehard card.
Physical diehard card, but all the premium written stuff by Tim and Jeff Wilson, who was in the chat on Rangers, and Sam and Sean.
Was that really
on the
Jeff
Stars.
Wilson?
That was really Jeff Wilson.
That was really Jeff Wilson.
Sam and Sean on the Stars, and Clarence and Joe on the Cowboys, and that coaching circus.
Tell him something, Joe.
You also get a physical diehard card, and you get a discount on any live events. Now, you don't have to be a diehard to go to our events. We are having one soon in a couple weeks here. February 6th, a watch party at Cosm. If you're a diehard, you get a 20% discount.
It is a dome.
At last check, I think there were only 8 seats left. So go ahead and act extremely fast on that. It is a sports dome. It's like watching a game on IMAX, and it's from angles that you're not used to. It is apparently incredible. I've never been. I cannot wait to go.
I've been twice. Very impressive.
Oh, my God.
Very
I'm
impressive.
really looking forward to it. So if you want to come hang out with us, the link for that will be in the description, I believe, or in the chat. Sorry, Tanner. We'll put the link in here very shortly. Act quickly, but hey, thank you. If all you're doing is hanging out in the chat and commenting and liking, hey, you're valid and appreciated and incredible. If you want to support what we're doing financially, then this is the best way to do it. So thank you very much.
By the way, they're gonna have the Royal Rumble at Cosm on February 1st.
Ooh,
yeah,
gonna be there.
I mean, I'm gonna be there. That's nuts. The Royal Rumble, but yeah, Cosm looks like it's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait.
That's nuts. No Dort.
Mavericks win 121-115 over the Oklahoma City Thunder as they get their 3rd win of the season against OKC. PJ Washington, 22-19 rebounds, a career-high 19 rebounds for PJ Washington. Spencer Dinwiddie, by the way, his 11 of 14 shooting, the most efficient night that he's ever had, with scoring at least 25 points in a game, going 11 of 14, that courtesy of Mavericks PR. So Spencer Dinwiddie, fantastic night for you. That's how you drive, Spencer, on a game like this. It's time to now.
Let's go, Oscar.
Just became a diehard LFG MFFL. Shout out to you, Oscar. You a real one. Appreciate you joining us here in the family here at DLLS Sports. Let's dial up the Stein line with our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. Marc was so excited last night. He declared one of the most exciting things about coming into today that he was going to be in studio with us. Well, you are here in studio. The floor is yours. We are 2 weeks away from the NBA trade deadline.
Inside 2 weeks now.
It is. We are inside of 2 weeks of the NBA trade deadline on February 6th. We got some special things coming February 6th here on DLLS Mavs. But obviously, teams trying to get themselves in position maybe to make a run. Even outside of the Mavericks, what's some of the things that has piqued your interest and got your attention right now as we move closer to the trade deadline?
Look, everything is Jimmy Butler centric right now. The whole league is on Jimmy Butler watch because, I mean, that thing has just gotten so nasty and so tense. And like, tonight, just what Miami went through tonight. So basically, they flew to Milwaukee yesterday. Jimmy Butler did not show up for the flight. They suspend him for 2 more games. The craziest part, though, was Milwaukee earlier this week flew to New Orleans earlier than scheduled, get to New Orleans because of unprecedented snow in New Orleans. That game wasn't even played. The Bucks couldn't fly back to Milwaukee until today, game day. So Miami beat the Bucks to this home game. The game had to be pushed back an hour because Milwaukee got there so late. And then, what'd you say? The Bucks?
They were up like 20 to 3 or something.
Yeah, it's like the Bucks got way down and then ended up just. Miami is a mess. This thing is a huge distraction. But the problem is Jimmy Butler is so hard to trade. He wants to go to Phoenix, but the Phoenix Suns, it doesn't matter how many more draft picks the Phoenix Suns acquire, they cannot functionally acquire Jimmy Butler unless Bradley Beal is in the trade. So 2 things have to happen. A, they have to find a team that is willing to take on Bradley Beal's contract. To this point, no such team has emerged. If it gets to that point and someone wants to take Bradley Beal's contract, then you have to get Bradley Beal to waive his no trade clause, which all the signals are he's not going to do. So it's like there just doesn't appear to be a way for Phoenix to get Jimmy Butler. And so then the question becomes, who else in the league is willing to trade for him? And, I think there is some thought that Bobby's Bucks might be that team, but even that's not clear. And so if no other suitor emerges, and there's no Butler trade in the next 13 days and change, what happens then? How do they get through the rest of this season? And, that
he
really
has to play at that point.
I mean, you would think, but it's just it's gotten so nasty and so messy that how does he come back to the team?
I have a couple follow-ups on that.
Go for it.
So one came from the chat, and let me find it. Miles asks, will the Jimmy stuff bog down other deadline deals? And then also, I'm sorry, the second part of that is your former colleague, Mark Spears, posted, or I think did an interview or something today where he said Jimmy's down to go pretty much anywhere, but he put in except for Memphis. So why would that just be in there? Is there some sort of he doesn't want to go there kind of thing? To your knowledge,
I think that only continues to come up because there was a point in time where Memphis did show some interest in going for Butler, and it was behind the scenes, quote, quietly communicated to Memphis, you probably shouldn't because he's not going to stay here for the long term. But look, Memphis, if they really wanted to, they could go the Danny Ainge route and just trade for him, and they could do it really without breaking up the core of their team. I don't think the Grizzlies would do that. I just think that's such a bold risk that really, they tend to move more cautiously. So I wouldn't anticipate that. And I already on the first question, look, bogged down. I mean, we're so close to the deadline now that most of the action probably is going to be closer to the deadline. I mean, we've seen 4 trades already, so it's not, 5 if you want to count the Phoenix trade when no players were included, but picks were included. So we've seen 5 trades already. Now we're getting to the point that most business probably will wait until the deadline because you want to give every chance to make sure that you don't miss out on the best opportunities. But look, there are a lot of teams out there, your Torontos, your Washingtons, your Charlottes, your Detroits. They would all like to get involved in a Jimmy Butler trade if they can, because if a Jimmy Butler trade happens, it's probably going to take 3, 4, 5, maybe more teams. The Mavs set the record. The Clay trade is the largest trade in league history in terms of participants. There were 6 teams involved in that trade in the end when it finally came to fruition. It'll be interesting to see if the Heat can ultimately find some sort of Butler trade. Will it take 6 to get it done? Because with all these apron rules, it's so difficult. But like I said, there are those teams out there that could be active with other moves. Like Bruce Brown is a player in Toronto that I think a lot of people would be interested in, but he's got a $23 million expiring salary. It kind of behooves Toronto to slow play it and see, could that contract factor into a Butler trade and maybe bring something that bring an asset to the Raptors that they would value. So, I don't know that I would use the verbiage bogged down, but yeah, I think it's funny because my pal Doug Smith from the Toronto Star last week, he was the first person to kind of report that the Raptors would love to be part of the Jimmy Butler trade. And when I ran that past someone who's pretty close to the talks, their answer back to me was half the league would like to be involved in the Jimmy Butler trade because again, it's going to take, even 3 teams, it's hard to see 3 teams being enough. So you always have teams that want to jump in there as a facilitator because they might get a decent
pick for
free.
Yeah. Look, the greatest scenario of all was, Cleveland got in the Harden trade. They got Jared Allen, who became an all-star. That's
right.
That's as great as it could be. That's a rare case where just think about that, how well that worked out for Cleveland to just jump into that trade.
I forgot about
That's
that.
pretty rare that it works out that well, but it just shows you why, teams might want to hang around with their trade assets and be a little patient.
Let's get to another super chat here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Shout out to Sarah.
Let's go, Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah. Sarah, a real one, with the 825 super chat. Team full of dogs. DAWGS. PJ Washington. Dog. Omax Prosper. Dog. Kessler Edward. He's a dog. Brandon Williams. Dog. Shout out to you, Sarah, with the $8.25
Maybe it's
super
a
chat.
silent G though, and so it's just like dog.
Dog.
No.
Kind of like when you see a puppy.
No.
No.
Is that
No.
super chat, Sarah, for Omax and PJ? 825.
825, yeah.
Let's go.
I'd imagine so.
Is that what that was, Sarah?
Stein with the numerology.
825.
Please confirm that in the chat.
That's 2 dogs.
Yeah.
We can only assume.
Sarah is a real one when it comes to our diehard members as well. We always appreciate Sarah hanging out with us here, whether it's our regular podcast or on our post
Friendship bracelets at the watch party.
That's right. That's what I'm going to be expecting.
Sarah
those.
says yes.
Yes to what?
It is
Stein's question.
It is Omax and PJ.
Confirm.
Oh, yes. Confirming what you yes. I was like, not to what you were saying. I was like, but yes, confirmed. Thank you, Sarah.
I thought that was very obviously lingering over here, and that we'd get.
I
into
agree.
soon,
Confirmed.
so.
She just added confirmed.
By the way,
Yeah.
Milwaukee destroyed Miami.
I wish
120
I wish my sources were that fast. Give me the trade rumor. Send me back confirmed.
To your point, Mark, Milwaukee destroyed Miami tonight, 125 to 96. Other scores around the league real quick as we look at the action on this Thursday night. The Denver Nuggets, they get the win at home over the Sacramento Kings. They win 132 to 123. Nikola Jokic apparently hit a half-court buzzer beater tonight against the Kings. So there's that. Bucks at 125 to 96. Raptors get a 122-119 win on the road over the Atlanta Hawks. The Trailblazers destroy the Orlando Magic tonight on the road, 101 to 79. The Trailblazers get a big win on the road.
Scary hours in Orlando.
Paolo played very poor. Didn't Franz just come back?
It's
Yes.
This was his first game back.
Missed 20 games.
Paolo was very bad.
And shout out to the City of Lights today. Paris, the Paris games taking place.
That was awesome.
What, you know what I was talking about?
no.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying a lot of cities have lights.
well, in
I
Paris,
don't know why Paris gets to be the city with lights.
Well, they are. They're hosting 2 games between the Spurs and the Pacers. The first one, which was played earlier this afternoon. Pacers lose by 30.
That's a tough loss to take it home.
They lose 140
I
to
can't think
110.
of 2 places less distinct or more distinct from each other.
CD
than
Lamb
Paris.
was at that game. Does that interest you?
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
CD Lamb's a big fashion guy, so that doesn't surprise me that he was in Paris. So, but yeah.
Wemby had
Are you proud of me that I know who CD
36-5.
Lamb is?
30, 11,
actually
6-5.
No, I'm not impressed because you are a low key a football guy. You're a Buffalo Bills fan. But yes, Wemby went off for a 30-point double, and
He's too tall to foul.
this
So
afternoon.
look, I mean, I just want to say the game ball. If you had to give the game ball, I think you would probably cut it in half between PJ and Spencer.
Yeah.
But let's go 3 stars hockey style. I think Jason Kidd has to be the 3rd star tonight. He got this team. He helped get this team very ready to play after, like I said, a very, very, very deflating loss last night. And there's just never enough said about the coach when they deliver performances like this. So I'm going to go 3 stars hockey style. And
So who's the first star?
I got to go PJ narrowly, but I mean, you could go 1A and 1B with him and Spencer. And we're kind of,
Kyrie
I'm
first.
kind of shorting Kyrie here, but Kyrie did get a shirt.
he did
so-
get a
He
shirt
did get a
tonight.
shirt.
So I would say
I'm gonna say
I'm giving Kidd the
That's
3rd
fair.
star, and Kyrie got a shirt. Kyrie not only got a shirt, he got an NBA Jam shirt.
that
Yeah,
is right.
Like
that's
that
fair.
is that is
There
that
it
is pretty
is.
that is pretty.
I got J Kidd 3rd star, but I'm going Dindication. Spencer Dinwiddie is my first star of the game.
Indication.
So you're the one who looked up the stat that you have to go back to Roy Tarpley for a stat line from PJ Washington, but yet
That's nuts, man.
Dinwiddie
22,
gets the
19,
1st
3,
star
and
from the
2.
Corel Illustrator.
Hey, he earned it.
Real quick, we want to thank our television audience for joining us here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. We're off tomorrow on Friday, but we'll be back on Saturday special start time. The Mavericks tip off with the Celtics at 4:30 Saturday afternoon.
Have they ever tipped at 4:30?
Yeah,
ever?
that's such an odd time.
I honestly can't. I can't remember.
Our pregame show.
Will find out if he'll look it up.
That's true. Our pregame show will begin at 3:45 right here on DLLS Mavs. You can visit alldlls.com, become a diehard member, and check us out there. As we finish up real quick before we get out of here on this Thursday night, a couple other scores around the NBA real quick. It's the end of 3 in Los Angeles. Lakers winning 83-68 over Boston. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors are destroying the Chicago Bulls with about 9 minutes left. They're up 103-83 on Chicago, and the Clippers are blowing out the Wizards right now in the Intuit Dome. They're up 76-51 with 8 minutes left in the third quarter there. Also, when you look at the standings with the win tonight, the Dallas Mavericks move from what was 9th in the West. They move up to what is now 7th in the West after their win tonight. They are 24-21 on the season. Your top 6 in the West right now: OKC, Houston, Memphis, Denver, the LA Lakers, and the Los Angeles Clippers. The Mavericks come in at number 7 at 24-21, followed by the Timberwolves, Sacramento Kings, and the Phoenix Suns. So the Mavericks staying afloat in the play-in situation right now as they get ready to welcome in the Boston Celtics on Saturday afternoon. Any final words, gentlemen, before we get out of here on this Thursday night? All good?
You hit the Fast Channel 59 alert, so
all right.
I think you put a beautiful bow on it.
That's sweet of you, Mark. I appreciate that. Appreciate Tanner for making us look good, sound good as always. Thank you, sir. The Mavericks get the 121-115 win over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Third win of the season over their bitter rival as the Mavericks take the season series 3-1. PJ Washington, 22 points, a career high, 19 rebounds. Spencer Dinwiddie with 28 points on 11 of 14 shooting as the Mavericks get a big road win to snap their 2-game.
Look at those last two comments from Estonia and Australia. Love it. Love it.
We love you, Estonia. We love you, Australia. Yes. Hop back with us here on Saturday afternoon. Again, pregame show begins at 3:45 p.m. 3:45 p.m. for the DLLS Mavs pregame show with tip-off at 4:30.
Rob says, let's pray for Gaff's balls. Let's. I will tonight.
Lou Dort is a sucker, man. I can't stand that dude. Shout out to Luke. 9:30 Sunday morning in Sydney. Perfect breakfast viewing.
Ardell issues a warning for those of us brave enough to trek north of the Red River.
Hide your kids, hide your wives, hide
Guard
your other
your sack.
stuff around Lou Dort for sure.
Guard that sack. Clutch it so he can't.
For our National NBA Insider, Marc Stein. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate the compliment. For our National NBA Insider, Marc Stein, that's our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Krill. That is our very tired Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. I am merely your host.
He's the youngest. Why is he tired?
Look, it happens. You'd be surprised.
We are DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you Saturday afternoon at 3:45 p.m. right here on DLLS Sports. Y'all be good. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.